Les interviews du doc, c'est maintenant sur Vinylestimes.
Nous avons Fabrizio avec nous en direct right now depuis Los Angeles, donc c'est une très très bonne nouvelle. Fabrizio, do you hear me?
Oh yes, absolutely. How's it going, man?
Thanks so much to accepting my invitation, Fabrizio. It's a great pleasure to speak with you this afternoon for me, this morning for you. I'm a huge fan of your music, so I would like to say, first of all, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. And of course, it's a gift for me on 2022. Thank you so much.
Well, no, thank you. Thank you. I mean, I'm the one. Thank you for having me. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And it's always great to talk to somebody that, listen to your music. So I really appreciate this. So let's get it going. I'm here.
Yeah, so let's go. So aujourd'hui nous avons bien sûr Fabrizio Grossi qui vient nous parler de Land of Gypsy. Alors Fabrizio, il a une très très longue carrière les amis, parce que il a joué avec Glenn Hughes, il a joué avec le Supersonic Blues Machine, il a joué avec Hughes. Il a sorti il y a pas très longtemps un album qui s'appelle Fabrizio Grossi and a Soul Garage Experience. On lui posera une petite question pour ça. Enfin, c'est vraiment quelqu'un qui joue beaucoup, qui est un super bassiste producteur. Et donc, on est très surpris de le voir arriver avec Land of Gypsy. So, Fabrizio, I would like to say, first of all, I just say you are a big bassist player, producer. You work with Glenn Hughes, Supersonic Blues Machine, Hughes, and a few days ago, maybe a few weeks ago, you create Soul Garage Experience, and now we come back with Land of Gypsy. It's a lot of work during 2021. I think my first question is just, during this lockdown, you have a lot of time to build a lot of music now.
Well, we had a lot of time to knock our heads against the wall. Because, let me tell you, because obviously, as much as I do love to work in the studio recording and creating new music and everything, it's always great when you can combine that with some sane and healthy live performances, right? You know, it's always good to interval the two. And from March 2020, basically, that was like no. And so the problem is that, sure, you have more time. Everybody thinks, okay, since you're not going anywhere, you can do, all the music that you want and all of it. But there is a lot of reality in the life of a musician that maybe are not necessarily, where the public at large not necessarily it's aware with, like, for example, 2020 was supposed to be a very, very busy year for my main band, Supersonic Blues Machine. And we ended up in having to postpone the release of a new record, which is actually now it's going to happen in 2022. I cannot give the date yet, but label will pretty soon. And that created a lot of problems because we had a long tour set up and just postponing and moving things around. And then obviously you're trying to keep the creative juices going. So I continued the work that I started on Soul Garage Experience, and we're just trying to figure out what was going on. So sure, you can get, I had some great creative moments, but there was also some downtime that was pretty troubling. I wouldn't say necessarily that you step into deep depression, but you start realize a lot of other things and everything, and they're not necessarily happy thoughts. And one thing that I wanted to add, I really appreciate the fact that fans and public at large understand the situations of our musicians and the fact that they're getting impaired because they cannot tour or anything like that. But being myself, not in a political way, but kind of like the leader of my band, because obviously I'm handling a lot of duties and I'm putting everything together and all of it, for both projects. I'm dealing not only with the musicians, but I'm dealing with the sound engineers, with the techs and everything. And these are people that I call the unsung heroes, because for every time that we go on stage, every time that any artist goes on stage, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 people on stage, you have at least twice as many people behind the scene working with you that help you to prepare all this, and the publicist and the label, and even if you're independent, tour managers, and these people depending on you. And the fact that we as artists are not able to go out and play, we can still sit down in our studios or in our room writing music. And for them, it was actually even harder. So major kudos, not only to my team, but to all the music team out there that were able to endure and pull through during these last insane 2 years.
Bah voilà, vous l'avez compris, hein, Fabrizio, il a été bloqué comme tout le monde en mars 2020, voilà, et puis bah, il a été effectivement, dans un premier temps, il a écrit des choses, dans un deuxième temps, comme vous savez qu'il est aussi dans le groupe qui s'appelle Supersonic Blues Machine, et ben ils ont dû, pour l'instant, reporter la sortie du nouvel album, qui arrivera, j'espère, en 2022, parce que le Supersonic Blues Machine, c'est du très lourd, hein, on en parlera peut-être un petit peu, et puis comme il le dit, bah, tous ces gens qui doivent être payés, qui doivent vivre de la musique, bah, c'est très compliqué, parce que bah, comme tout le monde, un petit peu partout dans le monde, hein, cette pandémie a fait qu'on n'a pas pu aller au concert, on n'a pas pu bah, acheter des choses, eux n'ont pas pu non plus travailler, donc il a été par moments super créatif, puis par moments ça a été très triste parce que bah, il y avait rien à faire, et puis on espère qu'en 2022 bah, tout va revenir à la normale et qu'on va pouvoir les voir. Fabrizio, maybe a few words regarding this land of Gypsy. I know that you're working with a lot of soul music in your hands, because you are a soul man, not only a bass player and producer, but for sure you are a soul man. And with the land of Gypsy, we come back on the 70s. This album it's turning maybe on 17th point, because we have a lot of bluesy, catchy music on it. It's very important to come back at this land of Gypsy with this particular approach, because if you remember, for the Lost of Listener, the first name of the band is Gang of Souls, so maybe that's why we come back on the soul music. So for you, Fabrizio, it is very important to in October to release this land of Gypsy with Terry Ilous on the vocals?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, I think it just like we kind of like took over. And first of all, you know, it was an incredible time because I had, you know, a real good time working with Terry. It was not only an incredible singer, but is a fantastic guy too, and he's a, you know, he's a freaking comedian. You know,
I know what you see.
And so you know, I guess him being French and I'm being Italian, we're cousins at large. So we always have points of commons, and our conversations in the studio mostly devolved over food and wine more than music. So it was like it was a constant fight. You know, it's camembert better than Parmesan or vice versa. You know, no, but you know, jokes apart, it was actually really cool to have that experience. And to be honest with you, the Gang of Soul was more the name or the suggestion, or more something that probably was coming, I guess, from the record company than from us. Mm-hmm. And Terry and I were talking about it. It's like, do you know what? It's just, you know, we're more like, you know, I'm from France, but I travel, and then here Los Angeles and moving around and stuff. You, the same thing, even more than me, in London and Toronto, New York and Los Angeles. Serge is in Belgrade, but he grew up around the world, Canada, all of it. And all these guys, like, all these located, we're a bunch of gypsies. But and we land in the land of Gypsy. And he looked at me, he's like, you know what? That should be the name. So we told Frontiers, and that's how it started. So I guess the name, it's more respectful of you know, of our identity, or at least our travel throughout history during the last 20 years or so. And as far as the music, I still understand a little bit French. I used to speak French during my junior high because that was what I studied, and I forgot everything, but I kind of like understood what you were telling the audience. And it's very important about the music for me, because both Terry and I really love, you know, rock music, and especially rock music from the 60s and the 70s. Don't get me wrong, everything that you said about soul and blues and all, that's my nature, that's where I'm coming from. But I always had a rock side. Unfortunately, though, sometimes people tend to accumulate all rock under one flag. I think music for me, regardless of how much distortion you have on the guitar, needs to have soul, it needs to have melody, and needs to have a real groove. And back in the 70s, any kind of rock band, whether they were going on the harder side, whether they were going on the softer side, whether they were going on the bluesier side, I always thought that they had great songs, great musicians. They were liked by everyone without a distinction. And it was a great time to do music, especially here in this country. And we wanted to pay a bit of a tribute to those kind of ears and the kind of music that you were listening on the radio back then. And, you know, from going back to like from anything from around then, from especially early Whitesnake, which is, you know, one of our favorite band, and that combines rock, classic rock and blues, but also band like Fogat, like the early Foreigner. I'm not talking about the later version, Super Radio, FM, whatever it is. I'm talking about the early days of that, or even the early Ted Nugent, political implications aside, you know, and all of that. That was a great time for music when it came down to, you know, American rock. So. And British rock. So, you know, we decided to go that way, and actually it was quite easy.
Et ben voilà, donc la première question, c'était, enfin une des questions, parce que c'est pas la première hein, à Fabrizio, c'était effectivement, alors quand vous avez écouté, j'espère que vous avez écouté donc ce Land of Gypsy qui est sorti au mois d'octobre, chez Frontiers bien sûr, c'est de revenir un petit peu à cette musique soul. Alors le premier nom qui avait été suggéré pour le groupe, c'est Gang of Souls. Alors voilà, parce que vous allez comprendre que Fabrizio, il a ce côté un petit peu voilà très magique dans ses doigts, dans sa basse et dans sa manière de produire les disques. Hein, et dans un instant, on parlera du Soul Garage Experience. Et puis voilà, donc l'idée avec Terry, c'était comme il le dit, ils n'ont pas fait que parler de vin, de fromage et de plein de choses, même si c'est toujours hyper intéressant, comme il le disait, de discuter et de rigoler un petit peu là-dessus. Mais en tout cas, ils sont partis plutôt sur du rock classique. Hein, vous avez compris. On parle de Fogat, on parle de Free, on parle de Whitesnake, c'est la période Whitesnake très bluesy. Et l'importance pour eux, c'était effectivement de retrouver cette alchimie dans les titres et dans la musique et de venir sur des vieux morceaux des années 70 très blues, très classique rock. Hein, c'est exactement le son qu'on a sur Vinylestimes, hein, Vinylestimes classic rock radio, les amis. Voilà, donc vous avez compris qu'on est dans quelque chose qui est très posé, qui est très bien bâti. Et j'espère qu'il y aura une suite à cet album parce que franchement, c'est un très très bon album. Il y a 11 titres. C'est 11 titres où on passe un bon temps. Hein, c'est magnifique. C'est du hard blues. Voilà, il y a beaucoup de mélanges, beaucoup de bonnes choses. C'est vraiment un très très bon album. Et en tout cas, moi j'ai hâte qu'il y ait une suite. J'espère qu'il y aura une suite. Et puis l'échange entre ce que fait Terry au chant, la basse, la guitare de Serge Simic, qui est très belle, qui est une très belle guitare rythmique. Et puis bien sûr l'ajout d'Eric Ragnaud qui vient faire quelques claviers. Il y a aussi Jeff Northup qu'on ne présente plus et qui est aussi un super guitariste. Voilà, il y a plein de bonnes personnes qui sont au milieu de tout ça. Et puis il y a un artiste à la batterie qui s'appelle Eiji Mora qui joue beaucoup aussi avec Fabrizio, puisqu'on le retrouve aussi dans le Soul Garage Experience, qui est un album qui vient de sortir aussi il y a pas très longtemps. Donc vous avez compris, on est sur quelque chose qui est très bluesy rock, classique rock. On est exactement dans ce qu'on aime, les 70, les 80. Voilà, c'est ce qu'on adore. Fabrizio, of course, you create 11 songs with this record. I hope you have another 11 songs on your bag to come back with a Land of Gypsy number 2.
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, we knew that we had something good when we were working on the record because we didn't really have any problems, you know. And after somebody like that does, I produced and I worked on I don't even remember how many albums I worked on it. And there is always that song. There is always that song or those couple of songs that no matter how hard you try, there's always some problem. This time around, to be honest with you, we didn't have any problem. Everything went like really, really smooth. So we knew that we had something good because when that happens, it's a good sign. However, nowadays you never really know what works and what doesn't. You put it out there and then see what's going on, you know? And I have to say that the feedback that we got from fans and from media and everyone around, it was just like so overwhelming that actually it was the other day that I was talking to Terry, which, hey, did you save some other demos here? Did you writing some other stuff down for track? Because I think we might have to soon go back and do some more stuff. By judging by the kind of feedback that we're getting, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a continuation to this. And I really would love to because, like I said, I had great time working with all my friends musicians, and this was the first record that I did with Terry, and I'm really hoping it's not going to be the last because I made an incredible friend and a fantastic singer, songwriter, musicians, and all-around human being.
Bah voilà, vous avez compris. Alors la question c'était, espérons qu'il y aura une suite. Alors comme il le dit, en tout cas tout s'est bien passé en studio. Ils ont super travaillé, les musiciens qui entourent ce Land of Gypsy. Hein, je rappelle, Terry Ilous au chant, Fabrizio bien sûr à la basse, Serge Simic à la guitare, Haji Mora à la batterie, Eric Ragno au clavier, et puis Jeff Northrop qui est venu faire quelques guitares supplémentaires sur le morceau Somewhere Down the Line. Bah ça s'est super bien passé. En tout cas ils ont des retours un petit peu partout qui disent est-ce que vous avez des démos, est-ce que vous avez des choses en stock. Alors potentiellement on espère effectivement qu'il y aura une suite, mais en tout cas moi je vous invite à écouter ce Land of Gypsy qui est sorti au mois d'octobre, c'est pas très vieux, si vous ne l'avez pas écouté, et en tout cas de mettre les deux oreilles sur ce fantastique disque, parce que c'est vraiment du très bon. Maybe Fabrizio, as you said a few seconds, we are a lot. We have a lot of works in your side. Maybe we speak about Supersonic Blues Machine one words, because normally I see a lot of picture this week. I think we come back with Kenny Aronoff and Chris Barras again for this Supersonic Blues Machine, and maybe we have some tour with starting. So it's a good news, no?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I've been waiting for this for the last 2 years. So no, everything. It's moving. Finally, it was really hard, especially for somebody like me. They always try to get things done and in place and organized. Up to December, it was almost impossible to talk to people. Everybody was confused, and then Omicron, and then Delta, and all of this. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, you know what? The new year started, and people are finally engaging, responding on the phones. We got the agents are working on shows and all of it. We have a record coming out. We have a lot of videos happening, and a lot of bands and a lot of other musicians that are reaching out that they wanted to work together based upon all these things that are circulating. So I would say that 2022 started off, I would say, very well, at least on my backyard. And I really hope that it's going to be like this for all my friends out there, musicians, colleagues, and also for the fans. Because I think after the last 2 years, and considering everything wrong that it's happening around the world, we all deserve a very nice, good, and entertaining and music positive 2022. Don't you think?
I'm really happy when you come back in France.
You know what? Actually, I'm going back and forth with our men in France. Hopefully before the summer or during the summer. I cannot make promises right now. If anyone wants to follow me on my socials, on my profiles, and also on my bands, of course, Land of Gypsies on Facebook, but also Supersonic Blues Machine on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all of that. And the same thing with Soul Garage Experience. My name there is Soul Garage Fab on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please keep, follow me. Just check out, see what's going on, intervene, leave your messages, and you will be kept updated to everything that is going on. And there is going to be a lot of music this year. That I can guarantee.
Yeah, comme l'idée, hein. Donc on parlait un petit peu des projets, des autres projets de Fabrizio, hein, le Supersonic Blues Machine. Alors si vous avez jamais mis les oreilles sur ce groupe, franchement, si vous aimez le Southern Rock, c'est vraiment, alors là pour le coup, des grands guitaristes, des grands morceaux très longs. Hein, si vous aimez Lynyrd Skynyrd, Foghat, Blackfoot, voilà, c'est Molly Hatchet, 38 Special. Allez écouter le Supersonic Blues Machine, le groupe. C'est vraiment quelque chose de génial, et j'aimerais bien les voir moi sur scène. Parce que j'ai pas eu l'occasion de les voir. Voilà, les membres actuels, donc Fabrizio, il y a Chris Barras qui est un super guitariste, c'est un ancien champion de MMA, et puis Kenny Aronoff à la batterie. Voilà, c'est un groupe incroyable qui a joué avec Billy Gibbons par exemple aux États-Unis. Je vous invite à écouter ce truc. Et puis comme il le dit Fabrizio, allez regarder sur toutes ces pages Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, tout ce que vous voulez. Et puis vous allez trouver peut-être une ou des dates en France. C'est pas encore défini, mais en tout cas, ça serait quand même une super surprise et une très bonne nouvelle de voir, en plus de ce Land of Gypsy qui est quand même sorti il y a pas très longtemps, d'avoir des nouvelles et de pouvoir voir sur scène ce Supersonic Blues Machine, parce que c'est du très très bon. Maybe Fabrizio, I would like to speak one word about this release we call Fabrizio Grossi and Soul Garage Experience. I listened many times this fantastic Souls album.
Oh, thank you.
And I would like to have some news about this one, because the first song is Slave to My Rhythm. So this is again a same approach like Supersonic Blues Machine and Lands of the Gypsies. This is a particular sounds with a lot of fun, a lot of music, and I think this is clearly your touch now.
Yeah, well, yes, you're right. This is actually, it's me unrestrained, meaning I grew up in Italy, as you know, and I think we're somehow in the same age group. When I grew up, Italy was not a rock and roll country, and the music that was playing on the radio and everything was always something different. However, there's always been a big element of black music, you know, whether it was Earth, Wind and Fire, Tina Turner, James Brown, Sly and the Family Stone, and obviously my first love, Bob Marley. I was exposed to that, but also was exposed to everything else that was happening. I was a big rock fan, but I also was into some English music that was not necessarily, I would say, close to rock or soul, which was more, I would say, the punk alternative bands like Clash or Eurythmics or Depeche Mode. I liked all of that. And that's actually, I say, it's what I have in common with Billy Gibbons. Billy's too. It's like a very person that it's involved with a lot of this kind of music. And at the end of the day, all these elements are part of me. And of course, soul and funk, they have a predominance. All these elements are coming together in everything that I do. Soul Garage Experience is actually my solo band. Sure, I have some great musicians with me that are, for the majority, are going to be part of the band, like Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addictions on drums, Derek Day on guitar, and all the other great musicians that are playing with us, including Betty Smith, that we're joining forces for this year, and we're going to be doing a lot of shows together. That's actually, it's my way of doing it. In other words, even if I produce and write music for majority of the music for Supersonic Blues Machine, and then again, working in projects like Land of Gypsy, these are projects where you have a lot of other people to give voice to make sure that what they're saying is respected, so you cannot put things in their mouth. Sure, we all think alike in terms of like how we see the world, the politics and music and all of that, but everyone's got his own point of view. So we're trying to keep it more, not neutral, but more in general, you know, love message, positive and all of that. When it comes down to Soul Garage, that's a little bit more like my personality. I'm always feisty. I'm very involved as activism against racism, social rights. I work with a lot of a charity, and actually I have several charity myself to fight homelessness and to remember musicians and, you know, to help kids and all that kind of stuff. So this is, I would say, more who truly am myself. That doesn't mean that I can work with anybody else, because I do that plenty of time. But Soul Garage Experience, I guess, is probably, it's me naked. You know, it's not me trying to put out any other hat or trying to get along with everybody. It's very political as far as record, as far as lyrics, but not in an offensive way, because I'm always, you know, a positive person at the end. And being the Buddhist that I am, I always believe in a love message, like, you know, my two big idols, you know, John Lennon and Bob Marley.
Bah voilà, on en profite parce qu'on a Fabrizio qui fait quand même plein de choses. Alors, on parle de Land of Gypsy, vous l'avez compris, on parle de Supersonic Blues Machine, mais on parle aussi de ce projet qui s'appelle Fabrizio Grossi and Soul Garage Experience. Je remonte pour ceux qui sont à l'antenne, la pochette si vous voulez le découvrir. Voilà, comme il le dit, c'est plus personnel celui-là. C'est plus dans son ADN italienne, puisqu'il dit que effectivement en Italie c'était moins rock. Alors ça l'est un peu plus maintenant quand même, parce qu'il y a quand même quelques gros groupes italiens qui commencent à monter. Et puis il a donc partagé via cet album, ce Soul Garage Experience, plein de choses. Voilà, comme il le dit, il est quand même, il y a des messages un peu engagés dans les titres, mais ça reste une personne qui aime bien toute la musique autour de ça. On a parlé de Rhythmics, on a parlé de plein d'Earth, Wind and Fire, on a parlé de plein de ces groupes-là qui sont plutôt des groupes avec beaucoup de feeling et de soul. Et on comprend en écoutant ce Soul Garage Experience pense, là où Fabrizio veut nous emmener. On écoutera peut-être, si on a le temps, un petit extrait tout à l'heure. On écoutera Slave to My Rhythm tout à l'heure, si on a le temps. En tout cas, voilà, c'est si vous voulez découvrir quelque chose un peu particulier, je vous invite à aller écouter donc ce Soul Garage Experience qui est disponible et vous pouvez le trouver assez facilement. Maybe before we ending this interview, Fabrizio, you come back on Land of Gypsy.
Sure.
Do you think you can plan something live? I don't know where, I don't know when, but maybe we can have this particular bands touring in Europe or something like that. Or at this stage, it's only a project that you have with Terry and the rest of the band. And maybe if we have a lot of people who wants to see you on stage, you can come back maybe on 2023 with Land of Gypsy.
Well, I'm all up for it. The thing is, like, when you have to bring a band out and tour, there's a lot of things that are coming into place, and unfortunately, I hate to say that, a lot has to do with economic, not necessarily for the musicians themselves, but what it costs to move people around and everything. So it needs to be justified. I'm pretty sure that if we keep on doing what we're doing, and the record keeps getting the attention that it's getting, and people are getting into it, and guys like yourself are keep on talking about it, playing it, and making it famous, I'm pretty sure that will increase the request, or at least the interest for people to be able to see us live. And if that's the case, I already talked to Terry. We would love nothing else than do that. To go out and play. It's a no-brainer. Let's see if the fans and the public will give us the reason to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Ah bah, la question, elle était simple. Est-ce que ça va rester en l'état de groupe, ou est-ce que s'il y a beaucoup de retours, s'il y a un deuxième album, on pourrait les voir sur scène? Bah, comme le dit Fabrizio, c'est parfois difficile, parce qu'il faut effectivement avoir le groupe déjà dans un premier temps. Il faut transporter. Et voilà, il y a toujours des dépenses qui sont importantes quand on est en train de tourner, effectivement. Mais on n'est pas sûr que demain il n'y ait pas une tournée qui se fasse, parce que de toute façon, s'il y a beaucoup de personnes qui passent la musique, qui font des demandes, qui retournent vers Frontiers ou qui viennent vers Terry en disant on veut vous voir. Peut-être qu'on aura effectivement Land of Gypsy en tournée. Maybe I don't know if you have the answer, Fabrizio, because it's more the question for Terry, but of course today it's not joining us. Do you have some news about XYZ? Do you think Terry working with XYZ with Pat Fontaine to create something now?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I would like to. I would like to be able to answer. And I was a big fan of the band. Actually, Pat Fontaine was one of the first few guys that I met here when I moved to Los Angeles from New York.
Yeah,
I was running a night, a rock night on Thursday, and even with his band of back then, he had another band. He used to come and play a lot. So that was my, personal taste. But I knew the band already from before. I had the records, even before living in Italy. To be honest with you, I really do not know. I hear Terry talking about it a lot. Yeah. But I don't know what's going on. So you will have to ask him.
Yeah. Maybe I can send a request to Terry to say, where are you with XYZ? Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, he will answer in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, tell him no more Parmesan and no more prosciutto for you. And he will definitely gonna answer immediately. He's more of a fan of that kind of stuff than myself.
Bah voilà, donc j'ai quand même posé la question sur XYZ à Fabrizio, puisqu'il il voit quand même Terry Ilous assez souvent. Où est-ce qu'ils en sont? Bah, il a pas d'idée. En tout cas, Pat Fontaine, bien sûr, que vous connaissez, c'est le pendant de Terry Ilous, qui est bien sûr aux États-Unis depuis très longtemps maintenant. Il y a eu des choses, il y a eu plein de choses qui sont arrivées sur Internet. On les a vus tous les deux revenir. Et puis peut-être il y aura quelque chose, peut-être il y aura pas. En tout cas, il faudra qu'on suive l'histoire de XYZ, Terry Ilous, et puis on verra bien. En tout cas, moi je vous invite à réécouter ce Land of Gypsy qui est sorti donc au mois d'octobre chez Frontiers Records. Il y a 11 titres, voilà, fantastique. Vous avez pu découvrir les deux premiers titres qui étaient Shattered, et puis il y a un autre extrait qui est sorti il y a pas très longtemps de le Rescue Me. On va écouter Rescue Me dans un instant. On va libérer Fabrizio. I would like to say thank you so much for your time on this beautiful Saturday. Many thanks again for accepting my invitation. It's a great pleasure to speak with you. Before we ending this interview, do you have a message for the French listener? Maybe in French.
Oh my God! I don't want to I don't want to butcher your beautiful language. Like I said, I need to get back and kind of like and brush up and bone up on my French. The only thing that I can say is like I cannot wait for any one of these projects to come back to your beautiful country. I'm a big fan of French culture, a big fan of French music and food. So. That's a combination that it's, unmissable. No, just kidding aside. I'm really working hard to make sure that we're coming back to France anytime soon. So please just, again, keep your ears and eyes open. Thank you for the support and the great support throughout all these years. I'll make sure that we will play extra good the next time that we're in France.
So, Fabrizio, thank you so much. Alors, comme il le dit, il espère pouvoir venir. Il adore la bouffe française, il adore tout ce qui est en France, il adore le langage. Il est italien, donc il est à côté, c'est un ami. J'espère qu'il pourra être là rapidement et qu'on le reverra avec l'Inde Gypsy, avec Supersonic Blues Machine. En tout cas, c'est un très très grand producteur, un très très grand bassiste de Los Angeles qui était avec nous. Fabrizio, thank you so much for your time. So now we can listen Land of Gypsy. Rescue Me, maybe?
Okay, and well, two things I can say.
Yeah.
Je vous en prie, et au revoir.
Thank you. Merci, monsieur.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Lovers come, they never stay, like shadows in the night.